Welcome back. My name is Tanya Lee, and you're on the Spiritually Connected podcast. I have with me today a dear friend, as well as a spiritualist medium, the beautiful Reverend Jill. Jill, welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad you invited me. I'm
Yeah, good.
looking forward to talking with you.
Me too. Okay, so here's the deal. Spiritualist and eventual medium. Come on, share it with me exactly what that is. That's your title. I get it. But you've worked hard to get that title. So tell me more about it.
Yes, yes. So basically, what I did is I belong to a spiritualist church, St. Bridget's Spiritualist Church of Edmonton, and I've been member there for, oh gosh, I think it's been about 10 years now. And in that journey of being a member, I ended up doing some studying about being a spiritualist and took some courses. And through the taking the courses through the Spiritualist Church of Canada, I ended up uh, taking on the role of being a minister. So now I'm a minister at the Spiritualist Church of Edmonton, St. Bridget's Spiritualist Church in Edmonton. And basically, what that is, it's about believing that there's life after death. It's about mediumship. It's about the connection with our spirit guides. It's about connection with our loved ones. It's about validation. And the evidential part is that evidential, and that the information you're giving can be verified by the people that you're giving the messages to. And everything is validated that way. And so that's what it means by being an evidential medium. So the people that you're giving the message to, they can identify it. You're given precise information, exact information, and they can take it. So, yeah,
I love that. That's a great explanation. So good. Do you know, I have to be honest, when I first heard, we have a lot of mutual friends. And so when I first heard that you're becoming a minister, I said, what is she doing? Good for her. So excited for you. I was like, oh, what a great journey. I'm so excited that you decided that you were going, that was your path. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and exactly, because I didn't intend it to go that way.
No.
It wasn't how I intended to do it, but what happened, I ended up going there because they offer psychic development courses and opportunities to develop your mediumship and stuff. And so basically that's how I started in there. And by doing those weekly psychic development courses and workshops, and in that I ended up getting more and more involved. And so now I also teach the psychic development as well as doing workshops and teaching the mediumship. We sit in circle. Unfortunately, with COVID, it's been difficult, but we sit in circle on weekly circles, and in that we are developing our connection with spirit.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Me too.
Yes. So you mentioned that you had learned through that. You knew you were psychic long before that, yes? How did you find out?
Well, you know what, Tanya, it's quite interesting because I never really thought of it as being psychic. It was just something that I did.
Right?
Because I never really thought of it that way because I was thinking about the question, and it was interesting because I grew up in a family who we just talked about it. It's just something that was just natural, and it wasn't. I mean, it started off with your intuition, right? You just kind of knew it. My mom was very intuitive. My grandmother was very intuitive. So I just kind of sensed things and knew things, but I never really had a connection with spirit until I had the experience of my grandmother's crossing. I was very, very close to my grandmother, and I was about 23. And I remember after she crossed, at the time, I was doing dishes by hand in the kitchen, and about 2 weeks later, I was like, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, I got this whiff, this wonderful perfume, and it was totally my grandmother. I stopped and I turned around thinking she was there, but I just sensed her. I just knew she was there. I was just like, and it was just such a comfort for me to have that experience. And so that was my real experience with spirit. Now, in saying that, I have my family has talked about that. Like my grandmother herself, when she was around alive, I remember when I was younger, she was talking about her being connected to her friend's husband had come to her and said, "You need to call my wife." And so she picked up who was her friend. So she picked up the phone and called her friend, and just found out that he just crossed over, he just drowned. And but the way my grandmother talked about it, I just thought, wow, this is so cool, right? It's just, but it wasn't anything like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. But it was just so cool that she had that experience, and it was just something we just talked about in the family. My mother also had the same wonderful experiences with crossing, with people who've crossed over, with her brother-in-law. And I remember my mom. It was just shortly after my uncle passed, and my mother she was tired. There was lots of stuff going on in the family at the time, and it was a sudden death. And so she came. I remember she went up, came into my room, and she just kind of lay down, and she was honestly 5 minutes. She just closed her eyes for 5 minutes. She sits right up, and she goes, "He came to me, and there's another will. There's another, and sure enough, there was." So I just thought, oh, it's just something I grew up with. So when did I know? It was just something that we did.
Always.
Okay, always. And then, the other thing that it was interesting too is that for myself, I've had a wonderful, wonderful experience with my grandmother after she passed. Now, this is like years, like I'm talking years later, where she ended up coming to me in a dream. But what was different about this dream is that it was so vivid. It was detailed. The colors were vivid and deep and bright, and I could just feel her essence, and I knew it was her, right? And it was just that connection of knowing it wasn't just a dream, it was actually a visitation. So these are some wonderful experiences I've had. Also, growing up in the family, we always had tarot cards. There was somebody playing tarot cards, and we're saying, "Oh, let's try it. Let's see what tarot has to say to us today, and what are the questions? Let's ask a question." So it was just something that we just did.
So it really was just completely natural for you.
Totally, yeah.
Oh,
So
because I'm not gonna lie, a little envious of you of that. What I didn't know actually, Jill, is that your and my stories are quite parallel with regard to both of our grandmas and guiding us along the way. So I love hearing that. I don't think I may have heard parts of that story before, but I've never heard that whole story before. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Yeah, it's very meaningful, and
Mhm.
every time I think about the experiences I've had with spirit, is just uh, so validating and overwhelming and healing and supporting. There's so many wonderful things that I've experienced. Yeah.
Uh, so you know what? There's a lot of people that ask me a lot of questions about how do you become psychic, or how do you know you're psychic? So for you, it was just naturally part of your growing up and part of your evolution. So, but what about somebody that, is 20, 30 years old or,
Mhm.
or later? What would you say to them about being able to develop their intuition?
Mhm. Well, first of all, everybody's psychic. And
Yes.
that's the thing I think people need to really understand. Because I think what happens is that they are thinking it has to be sort of written out. Okay, you're psychic if it's A, B, but that's not necessarily the case, right?
No.
What has to happen is people just need to have to start self-awareness, right? And trust that what you're getting is real, because people question it a lot, right? So part of that development is having that self-awareness. So part of that self-awareness is taking some courses or having conversations with somebody who's had those experiences, and you can share those things. The other thing that happens too for myself, on my journey, is doing my development and my psychic development, was actually sitting still in the power, or in the power in the meditation, where you start to feel and sense things, and then you start trusting and ask for signs, and asking for those signs is the validation that the information you're getting is correct. Because sometimes people also think that being psychic means that somebody has to be, you have to have a little voice behind you, beside your ear, saying, yes, this is what it's not, what you got to do. No, it's on the left. No, it's just something you feel and that you know. And it's learning to trust that. But part of that is learning to trust yourself. So that in itself is another journey. So it's a process of growth. It's a self-development, a self-awareness, and it's knowing that we're all connected to spirit, which is also connected to being psychic.
Agreed. I think that's so important what you said about trusting yourself
Mm.
first. I think that one of the biggest things I learned was spirit's always right, 100% right. And it took me a while to come to grips with that. I trust, not trust, not trust, trust. And then as soon as I had that feeling 100% trust spirit, my mediumship just grew. It was always there. It was just me trusting it more. So it really does come down to yourself. So
Oh, it does.
if you were to say, um, evolution wise, and I know we're both uh, continuous, like, lifelong learners, so I know that this doesn't quite fit exactly, but if you were to say, how long do you think somebody's evolution is when it comes to being a true psychic medium? Like, how long do you think from, let's say, start to finish, till you think that they have and this is just your own opinion, till you think that they have it, or they can feel confident in it to do what we do by doing
Mm.
readings for people?
Right, right. Well, first of all, I think it's got a lot to do again with that trusting yourself and trusting spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's practice, practice, practice. And one of the things to do is that you need to be able to do this on a daily basis, even if you take, say, 5 minutes a day. You start off with 5 minutes a day, just sitting and being quiet and listening within yourself. And as you do that, you're going to start growing and growing and growing and feeling and sensing even more. But in that, there also part of that is just doing it, right? Just start doing it. Ideally, it's because best to have good teachers along the way.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You need good teachers along the way because then they teach you um, how not to doubt yourself and to start trusting spirit. Because a lot of times when you do this journey, people either will get in their head, the ego, because the ego will take over,
Mm-hmm.
especially when this is something that you really want to do, right? And then it's like, okay, I got this, okay, it must be this, it must be this. And but what happens is that you get too much in your head and then you lose it. It's got to come a place from your your psychic ability, your solar plexus, your heart. That's where it comes from. And to get in touch with that, you have to sit in your stillness. To sit in your stillness is allowing yourself that time to grow, and that is your development. As you move forward and take your classes and learn about when it's not ego and when it is spirit, and trusting that and practice, I think we'll get to a sense of time when you're going to start feeling more confident in yourself. And in that, yeah, but it's ongoing. It never stops. I'm still learning. I know
Mm-hmm.
you are as well. We're both still, and it's just an ongoing process. But as you move forward, is you start getting more and more information. Like for me, when I first started on this journey, it was interesting because when I first started doing the mediumship piece, right? I just thought, okay. And it felt to me like a door was just open, just a tiny bit. And I could just see little pieces of it. So it was just little bits and I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting this. And I'm kind of going, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just going to say it. So again, just say it, right? And if you're wrong, that's okay because that's where you learn, right?
Absolutely.
It's okay to be wrong, but then that forces you to go back and start developing even more. But as I move forward, now there's no door. It's just wide open, right? So it takes time, it takes discipline, it takes commitment and dedication and trust spirit. I
Agree.
can't emphasize that the most, trusting spirit.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I love that. Good. So I want to do a little brag for you. Well, for us, actually.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we happen to be collaborating on a book, right?
Yes.
So how would you like to share that with the audience?
Well, we Tanya and myself, we had it up. Not just us, but there's 44 total mediums who there wrote a story that is being published in a book called The Last Breath, which is so exciting because it's about spirit. It's about the afterlife. It's about healing. It's about validation. It's about knowing we're not alone in this world. That's so cool. And I'm so excited for all of us that are being um, wrote and being able to share a part of our experiences with the spirit world, which is again so validating. And so I'm really excited for that. I know September 14th is when it's going to be coming out, or launch date, and yay! And so yeah, I'm very happy and excited, and I'm happy to hear people's comments.
Me too.
Yeah.
I started sharing it, just the pre-launch, and I'm so excited. Everybody is just so supportive and so wonderful. And
Yeah.
I've had a few comments as well. It's about time.
Yeah.
Touché.
Yeah. And what I love about this book too, it's all true. They're true
So true.
stories that we, as mediums, have experienced.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I think I've read almost all of them, if I haven't read them all. And they're just some of the so heartfelt stories. I'm so excited about this book. It'll be so much fun. It definitely
Yeah.
won't be the last one, that's for sure.
No. And what I also love about it is, because a lot of times we don't have that self-awareness, we don't see the signs, right? Because their signs are everywhere.
Oh
We
yeah,
just need we just need to be open to that experience. So this book just sort of validates all of that stuff.
it really does. It really
Yeah,
does. I
yeah.
agree. Okay, so I have a good question for you here.
Mhm.
Who's your favoritist? And I know that's not a word, but it's a Tanya word. Your favoritist client, and
Uh,
how come?
uh,
So don't name
well,
names or anything, but
no. Well, actually, you know what? In my experience, because I've done um, one-on-one readings, I've done group readings, I've done demonstrations as well, and that's with an audience. And what I found in that whole experience of giving readings is that it's very healing and comforting to the people. And some people end up laughing because the personality of the spirit comes through, and they could be quite, funny. And so you capture that within your reading and stuff to the sitter, and they're so grateful for that. Or, there could be someone who's lost someone who maybe there needs some closure to that. And so when you're able to give them that through your connection through spirit with spirit, that in itself is very, very comforting and validating. But I have to share with you this one reading that I did have with this woman, and she was an East Indian woman. She comes and sees me, and her husband crossed, and she had some her sons, and she was concerned about her sons and about because it was a sudden loss that she had. And so she wanted the connection with her husband, which happened. He came through. And then at one point she asked me, she said, could I ask him something for language, right? And I went, oh, okay, this has never happened to me before. I had no idea how this is going to turn out because I only speak English. That's all I understand. I don't know any other languages.
yeah.
So she asked it, and I went, okay, let's give it a try. So she asked the question, and I heard his response in English, and I gave her my response that I heard that he gave me, and she just burst out in tears. And I just thought, okay, so whatever she said, I have no idea what she said. I have no idea what she asked or what she wanted to know from spirit. But anyways, however he responded was what she needed to hear. So again, that just tells me that no matter what, spirit is there. There, even though you as the medium, actually the middleman, so to
Right?
speak,
Yes.
yeah, totally middleman. Um, that that whatever you get, that connection is so important, and it's so solid, and it doesn't matter what language you are, it you can still communicate. It was so cool. I know, so did I. I was like, I surprised myself. I was like, wow, this was cool.
I love that. Yeah, I've been there. I feel you. Yeah, yeah. That's so good. That's so
Yeah,
good. So
yeah.
Jill, out of all the different modalities, so tarot, oracle, doing mediumship, psychic, what is your absolute favorite? And I know you do lots of them, different ones, but
Yeah,
what's your
yeah.
absolute favorite?
Well, I love the connection with spirit, the mediumship stuff. However, when I say that, whenever I do psychic, I'm still connected to spirit,
Oh yeah,
right? Because your connection's a little different. Because when you do your psychic reading or connection, you're connecting to that person here on earth.
that's right. Yeah.
When you're connected to mediumship, you're connected to the spiritual world,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when I do the tarot cards or the psychic readings, I still have connection to the spirit world. I can still get some information through spirit. So to me, it's a combination of all of it. It's
Okay.
not just one, but I love doing demonstrations. I love doing platform
Me too.
work. I just think it's great. And I love the energy of it. The energy is so exciting. I just love it. If I was going to say that would be my favorite.
Good. I got to be honest, that's absolutely my favorite as well.
Yeah.
Just I just get going, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
what do you mean 2 hours is up? What do you mean we have to
I
stop?
know.
I'm going. Well, what? Okay,
I
just
know.
10 more minutes. Half hour later.
I know. I know. And the energy is so amazing. It just keeps going and going. And I'd love to see the response of the people who are getting these messages. And it's so, to me, as the medium, is so heartwarming
Oh,
to see how much healing and love um, and the know that you're part of that process is just
yes.
feels great. Yeah.
Especially when you can have families come together when they're not, or just give a message to it just gives me tingles all over.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so oh man, I just want to continue talking to you forever, and I know you and I could. Uh,
Yeah.
we should really set up so we do a demonstration. Sorry for
Ah,
those who don't know. We should really do
okay.
that. So let's plan
Okay.
that.
Let's do it.
Let's let,
I'm on.
let's make a plan for it. If I don't,
Okay.
if I'm not deserting you to Australia anytime soon, I don't believe. Well, hopefully I am, but let's figure it out.
Okay. We'll
We
do
can
it
have
for
fun.
sure.
Okay.
We'll do it.
So are you open to doing a couple of readings for us, for the group?
Sure.
Love
I
it.
definitely can. Yes. Yes, I
Good, good.
can.
Totally
Okay.
catching you off guard here, so that's all good. All right. So I'm gonna give you. Let's do four. I'm gonna give you four names,
Okay.
and so just a little heads up. These are my VIP people in my inner circle. So I
Hmm.
gotta give them some love. So
Okay.
let's start with the first one. Let's do Val. Her name is Val.
Val. Val. Okay. So when I connect with Val, when I connect with her name and her energy, what I get is a lot of curiosity. She seems a girl that has a lot of wants to know things, right? It's like she's always in the process of seeking information. It's like if this isn't right, I wanna find more out. It's like this is not enough. I need more. So it feels like she's that type of person. I also get someone who's very adventurous and enjoys nature. I find that she's also has a very generous spirit, but you don't want to take advantage of her.
Oh, that is so good. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Do you have a little nugget of wisdom for her going forward?
One of the things that I get for hers too is develop a lot more patience for herself
Oh,
because I
yeah.
think sometimes she's hard on herself
Hmm.
and she needs to do a little bit more self-love.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Good. Thank you.
yeah. You're
That
welcome.
you read her to a T. All right, let's hit up another one. Let's try Mary. Mary.
Mary? Okay, Mary. So with Mary, let me see what her name I get. Mary, I find, is a little bit more cautious. I find that she's not as like she's a little more reserved. So it takes a while to get to know Mary a little bit more. But when you do get to know her, it's a good solid connection with her. She's very great friend, loyal friend. But it takes a while. She's got this little bit of a boundary in front of her, but that's okay. But I also see that she's also someone who loves the earth. I see her in gardening, and I see flowers around her, and I think she loves the smell of flowers because see a lot of brightness around her, and she likes that. It was interesting because I also feel that I don't know if she likes jewelry, so I feel like she might have gotten a ring or something because I feel like there's there's rings or something on her hands. That's the other thing I get from her. Um, I also get that she's just a nurturer, very
Mm.
nurturing as well,
Okay.
and she loves to care for people, and so that's what I get for her. But I also feel that she's really on a spiritual path in her life right now. I feel like she's opening up more, getting more information for herself, and learning again to move gentle and trusting, trusting.
That's
Yeah,
perfect. You
yeah.
definitely have her down as well. All right, let's see. How about Lori?
Lori. Okay, let's see with Lori. Um, all right. So when I connect with the name Lori, I see Lori more as a team player. Lori to me is part of a team. Lori feels like she's someone who she's got a creative side to her. I see her having a lot of creativity. I see her easy to get to know. I feel like she's a lot more laid back, easygoing, not so regimented, if I can say it that way. She's just I get the word flamboyant as well. Like she's just like kind of carefree in a way. But I also see that she's very good with planning things. And I also see that she's very good at money. So I don't know if she's controlling money or she kind of keeps things sort of where they need to be. So um, she's very frugal with her money, is what I'm getting as well.
Oh, she is. She definitely is. Any nugget of
Yeah.
wisdom for her?
Well, the other thing to do is I don't think she gives herself enough credit for the things that she does because I feel that she needs to accept that about herself that she does have these gifts. And when I say these gifts, like she's creative side to her because I feel that she's very creative, but she doesn't. Um, she could take herself further with that because I feel like she kind of holds herself back a bit.
I couldn't agree more. I love that. Thank you. All right, so how about Angel?
Angel. Okay. So Angel, she's with us. I see her as very much an entrepreneur. I feel that she's a one that is I feel like she's starting her journey with this entrepreneur stuff. I feel like she's really, but I feel that it's getting more momentum. I feel it's picking up. She's getting busier and stuff. But I also feel that she needs the other side. She needs a quiet time. She needs that inner peace. She needs that calmness because if she doesn't, she gets off balanced and she really needs to find her grounding. And I feel that she does do that, but I feel that that's her place when she goes to, when she's feeling off balance, that's her place that she needs to go to her solitude. And it feels like she likes candles. I smell smelly things around her. I'm also getting that she's a writer or likes to write. I feel like she's spending time, and this is her the word insight, her ways she finds out things. She just likes to write them out. I feel like she's very organized that way as well.
She is so organized.
Yeah, but I also see things that are. I also see that she's. I get like she's moving on. I feel changes are happening for her as well. I feel some big changes are happening, but I still really positive changes are happening for her. Moving forward, especially in what she's doing.
She'll love that. That's
Yeah.
exciting. And I think one more. You're open to one more? Doing one more?
Sure. Yeah.
How about Stacy?
Stacy. Okay, so Stacy. Let me see here. Now with Stacy, I feel that she's a go-getter. I feel Stacy is someone who, um, when she decides to do something, she goes all out.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't, she doesn't do it half-assed. Like she's committed. And I feel that's, she's very dedicated when she puts her mind to something. I also feel that she's got, uh, a father figure around her that's very close. I don't know if he's in spirit, but someone's around her fatherly like that I feel that's really guiding her as well. She has a great sense of humor
She does.
and and a great laugh because I feel that she does it from her belly. Like I feel like she just sort of embraces life. Is that how I feel about her? And she's got a lot of wisdom. She's
She
very
does. Yeah.
she's very smart, and what I like about this too is she's not afraid to take on challenges.
Good. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. I love that. Love that. Love that. Good, good. She's also a fellow Aries,
Ah,
same as me. And so that girl is tenacious. So she's going to love it.
yeah,
That's fantastic.
awesome.
Okay. And so how can, you know what, like I said, I could keep talking to you forever, but we're going to switch gears. And so how can people get in touch with you? Do you do reading? Like, I know you do readings. So you do readings. How can they get in touch with you? Workshops, anything else? The book,
Sure.
how do they get to you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I've got a Facebook page called From Spirit to Spirit. So go check that out. You'll see a picture of me and my dog and some flowers. So some flowers are my thing. You can connect with me that way. Just leave me a message. It's got all my information on there. I do group readings. I do individual readings. And also I am a minister. So if you need to get married, I can also perform weddings.
Well, there is that. I am getting married.
Ah, there,
Right? So there is that part.
yeah, there you go.
I
There
love
you
that.
go,
I love that.
Tanya.
That's awesome. Okay, Jill, thank you so much for being on with me. It was such a pleasure. I learned some stuff that I actually didn't know about you, and
Oh,
our bond just gets even better. So I look
yeah.
forward to working with you on as we promote our book,
Yes.
and I will definitely have your link below so that everybody can connect with you directly. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Take care.